Let's get to it. Ballot petition signatures were turned in this week for several initiatives hoping to qualify for the 2016 ballot. So far, only Colorado healthcare and the minimum wage increase have officially qualified. Issues that turn in signatures but are still waiting certification include proposals regarding fracking, medically assisted suicide, and presidential primaries. Patty, we expected a big fracking fight in 2014, and then it didn't happen. And then we thought, well, at least that's going to be the headline event for 2016. But they may not even make the ballot. I mean, they didn't turn in reportedly more than, I guess it was 105,000 signatures. You need 98,000, so a 98% perfect rate is really high. Do you think we're finally going to get that fracking fight?
In the courts, yes, as they try to sue to get on the ballot, because I don't think they have enough signatures to make the ballot. All you have to do is look at the problems we had with Colorado's Senate candidates, Republican Senate candidates with their petition signatures, to know that the courts is your next resort after you get booted. I actually had two staffers over at Wayne Williams' office right at the deadline for initiatives. We were doing a Facebook Live interview with him, and we get this little note across the table that a U-Haul had just pulled up with all the fracking signatures. And so just box after box came in, but as we later found out, those boxes weren't full. 105 is just not enough. You need at least 98,000 that are good, and that's not enough give. I think we'll see raise the bar on it, which ironically wants to have you bring in more signatures in order to change, put an initiative on that would change the Constitution. I think right to die, or that bill will get on. We're going to be very busy still at the ballot box. There are going to be at least a half dozen on the statewide level, and then some locally we'll be voting on.
David, there was a lot of political fear in 2014 to the point that Governor Hickliffer had to hold a conference just so he can get those fracking ballot measures off the ballot. It seemed that there's going to be a lot of money from both sides. People knew the oil and gas companies would bring that, but people also thought there'd be a lot of support from Colorado. What do you think contributed to the lack of, the U-Haul really being needed, I guess is the right point?
Well-educated Coloradans we've been through this anti-fracking hysteria, for several years now, and people are starting to catch on that all these scenarios of, it's going to make your tap water catch on fire and it's going to poison everybody, and all in all, it's not working. The campaign against it, the first in our state's history of saying, don't sign this, I think was effective. And it turns out that the Donald's endorsement of it apparently didn't sway that many Colorado voters, where he came in and talked about one of the many things he knows nothing about, but his endorsement of this apparently didn't bring in sufficient signatures for it.
Kristen, you're covering a lot of the ballot issues for the AP. From what you've seen so far, what do you think are going to be the headliners in Colorado for this year's election?
Definitely the universal health care measure. I interviewed the sponsor of that measure about a year ago, and she jokingly said this is going to be a huge boost to Colorado's economy, just in how much outside advertising it's going to attract from the insurance industry to defeat it. I think these are going to single-handedly keep our local TV stations in business for the year, especially as our Senate race is not as hot as some thought it would be. Presidential might not be as hot as it could be. They're going to be packed out with oil and gas money, if that makes it, and in fact the big loser if that doesn't make it probably is 9 News. And the universal health care measure already on ballots. It's going to be really interesting to see how those go.
Halisi, some folks are saying that this is kind of a no year with the electorate the way it is, that they're just going to vote no on almost anything. But when you look at the Colorado electorate and where we're at, we've had a lot of new folks move in since 2014. Where do you think they are in general as they approach ballot issues?
I think most folks are uninformed. I mean, the average person thinks about politics and all of this about 3 minutes per week. So I haven't
hopefully
signed
26 minutes on this show, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I have not signed any of these, and I told them, I said, if we have too many people, we'll just vote no all the way down the line. I have concerns about the healthcare initiative, even though I'm pretty liberal and would love to see something like this. I don't think that this is the right measure. I'm pro or not anti-fracking, but definitely let's start, lessening fossil fuel consumption. And yet I can't support this fracking bill and assisted suicide. It's too much, and I believe that voters will be confused. And yes, this will be the no year. I will be surprised if any of these pass.